The workshop opened 10 years ago with 10 people, 5 men and 5 women. By the end of that year, there were 45 people. Spinners, dyers, weavers, dressmakers, pressers. Today, there are more than 100 people working there. The women spin the khullu wool. This precious fiber can only be harvested by hand and in springtime when the yaks start to molt. The queen of wools was used to make garments for Tibetan royal families and the emperor of China. But the savoir-faire almost disappeared at the end of the last century. Today, Dechen is reviving this forgotten art. As they carry out their painstaking work, the spinners recite a prayer and repeat the mantra of great compassion over and over again.
So for that reason, it was always very obvious that the only way that we could help people was by bringing and keeping the added value of this locally available raw material right in the area itself. And the only way you could do that was by providing stable jobs and a stable source of employment.
The workshop has no animals of its own, but buys the finest khullu of 2-year-old yaks from a network of nomads who bring their wool every May.
The workshop has started to become an ideal place for women to come because they had such hard lives as nomads. They had to wake up as early as 3 in the morning, and they start with milking all the animals. Depending on the herd size, usually they'll be finished by 5 o'clock. And then they start churning the milk and preparing it for the butter, drying the cheese, collecting the dung. And that's most of their chores. They just really didn't have any free time at all in a single day during the summer months. It's a very harsh, hard life. For them, it wasn't so difficult listening to someone telling you what to do because they had to listen to their husband or they had to listen to their father-in-law or their mother-in-law or their mother anyways. It's become a place where they can come and they can receive and have a steady source of income, and they then have a new kind of status, whether it's in their family or whether it's in their freedom as being a single woman.
My name is Drukmuk Yi. I'm a weaver at Norla. Weaving isn't something I was made to do. It was the first thing I learned. I really like sewing too. At the workshop, sometimes I get bored. We can't do what we want, when we want. When you get bored, you get really bored. But I say to myself that I'm no longer collecting bad karma killing animals. Now, I earn a living in a dignified way, and I like that.
The people who work in the workshop all grew up as nomads. Mostly illiterate, they know these vast rolling grasslands like the backs of their hands. The first weavers went to Cambodia to train.
I'm a nomad. I'd never traveled abroad before, not even to China. The first time, it was so hot. And I was amazed to see the ocean. I remember it very well. When it's cold here, I think it must be nice to live by the seaside.
The other artisans were trained by Nepalese experts. They learned to spin and weave using an Indian technique that was new to them.
Sometimes the training began from how to use a calculator, how to write numbers, and then how to add, how to subtract, and then they picked that up quite fast.
Like Dechen, most of her close collaborators started this adventure at a young age. Dorji was 22 when he arrived at the workshop.
I learned a lot from Dechen. At school, I learned the bases of Tibetan traditions, and I tried to learn Tibetan as best I could. With Dechen, I've learned computers, English, negotiation, marketing, and production.
Everyone in the management system is quite young. That's why we've always been very excited by everything else that's happening in the world, all the technology in the world. So we try to take the advantages of technology and ride with that to kind of get us more in touch and make us more efficient in the world and as a production unit.
Now we all use telephones and computers. Came like a wave. No doubt because now we don't have to worry about our survival, so we can pay attention to technology.
In the beginning, we had a meeting with all the managers and we said, okay, we have to not allow phones to be brought into the workrooms. They have to leave it at the door, and we can give them a break to use their phone for 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes in the afternoon, but besides that, they can't use it. And everyone was like, that's just not possible. The people just won't listen. There will be a revolution in the workshop if you can't use your phone. The first 2 days was like, and then all of a sudden, nobody ever complained again.
For years, the nomads were isolated. Now, men and women are connected from across all the regions of the plateau. They discuss the state of their pastures, livestock sales, and they share the beauty of a forgotten poem on WeChat. These communication platforms connect them to the rest of the world, thus preserving the Tibetan language.